On today's show, we're getting you caught up on the latest Sixers news and rumors, but first, we as Philadelphians don't like losing any competitions to the city of New York, and we are right now here at Chat Sports. New York Knicks now, Philadelphia 76ers now, two of our younger assets here at Chat Sports as we launch both channels over the summer, and Knicks now ahead of 76ers now by almost 600 subscribers. I can't stand for this, and I can't accept this. I haven't been able to sleep the last couple of days because of that. So if you want to stay in the know with all things Philadelphia 76ers, hit that red subscribe button down below. Let's start today's show, and most importantly, let's catch up to those frauds in New York. Welcome into Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. It's Monday. We're getting you caught up on all of the latest Sixers news and rumors, including the latest on the Ben Simmons front. Of course, the NBA trade deadline coming up on February 10th, and according to Adrian Wojnarsowki, he dropped this report on Friday. The Sacramento Kings are out because the asking price from Daryl Morey remains way too high. It's funny because then Tyrese Halliburton came into the Wells Fargo Center and just went off as Joel Embiid had that monster second half. But there are two teams still in the Ben Simmons sweepstakes. The Atlanta Hawks still showing some interest. Minnesota Timberwolves are as well. But for the T-Wolves, they're kind of battling for playoff positioning in the Western Conference. I don't think they break apart that roster to bring in Ben Simmons. So I think the more realistic trade target would be the Atlanta Hawks. A lot could happen in the days leading up to the NBA trade deadline. Chris Haynes also saying this on the James Harden front because we've been talking about these James Harden rumors here on the channel over the last couple of shows. Quote, if it does get to the point where it looks like James Harden will be headed to Philly, I was told there will be complaints issued to the league on trying to investigate to see if there was any collusion. I mean, for real now, tampering happens in the NBA every offseason. Tampering happens all the time. Tampering happens every single game, technically, according to the law, when these players talk about their respective futures. And we know behind the scenes, DMs are being sent, and these conversations are happening. I just think the NBA doesn't like the Philadelphia 76ers. They took away Sam Hinkie. We had to hire the Colangelos, and they almost damn near drove the franchise into the ground. Now, Sixers are trying to get Ben Simmons to get traded for James Harden, and we're talking about collusion. Who cares? I don't even care if the Sixers get a good player back and it's James Harden. Let's move forward. Let's try to hoist the Larry O.B. There was also this interesting nugget from Vince Goodwill of Yahoo Sports on the Simmons and Harden front. Talks maybe including Tyrese Maxey, Philadelphia's young star. I do believe that Sean Marks has on the table a James Harden for Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey trade, and maybe a combination of filler and picks. That deal on the table that he's really just not entertaining up to this point. Now, I've said this a couple of times. I have receipts. Go back, look at the channel over the summer. A lot of the haters say, all you do is talk about Ben Simmons. That's not true. He's just one of the biggest storylines in the NBA. We've also been talking about and breaking down the tape of Tyrese Maxey. To me, he's untouchable. He's everything that we thought Markelle Fultz was going to be. He is a playmaking guard who can create for himself and others, and he's really been in the lab working on his offensive game, and the numbers certainly indicate that from last year to this year, as we'll show you here in just a few moments. I love the passion in which he plays with. I like the growth that I've seen in his 2 years since coming out of Kentucky, and I like the strides that Tyrese Maxey has taken. Most importantly, though, I like the mental makeup of Tyrese Maxey, and I think looking ahead, he can be one of the franchise cornerstones. He really plays well alongside Joel Embiid. I want to see that two-man game continue to evolve and get better, but he has all of the makings of being a prototypical Philadelphia player who understands the blue-collar nature and plays every single game with maximum effort. And man, when he's zooming up and down the floor, Tyrese Maxey, really fun to watch. So I want to ask you this because I want to gauge the temperature of the city of brotherly love. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey for James Harden? Like if Sean Marks said, hey, Daryl, I'm not trading away Harden unless I get Maxey back. Type Y for yes, you'd put him in the deal, and for no, be sure to get your votes in the comment section right now. Going back to the growth of Maxey, last year as a rookie, I think if you were to do the redraft of the 2020 draft now, Tyrese Maxey might be a top 10 pick. So too might Tyrese Halliburton. But last year, we saw ability. We saw potential with Maxey, especially in that second round series against the Atlanta Hawks when he really bailed Philly out in a couple of situations. 15 minutes per game as a rook, 7 field goal attempts, 8 points per game, field goal percentage certainly respectable at 46 plus, 3-point percentage 30. But here the numbers have gone up as he's taken over for Ben Simmons, and really offensively, Sixers haven't missed a beat. Minutes up to 35.5, up from 15. Field goal attempts have nearly doubled as well, up to 13. Points per game has doubled, up to 16.5. The field goal percentage, a shade up, but the 3-point percentage up 10 percentage points on more than 3 attempts per game. What Tyrese Maxey is doing in his sophomore campaign, very, very impressive. And there's been some bumps along the road for Tyrese Maxey. Anytime you're going from 15 minutes per game to 35, that's going to happen, but he's feeling his way through the NBA, and we haven't seen a sophomore slump. Instead, we've seen a sophomore sensation with Tyrese Maxey. He's Philadelphia's young king. I love him. I think he's untouchable. What do you think, though? Another opportunity for you to let your voices be heard in the comments section. Here at Chat Sports, we love our audience interaction. Kind of like sports radio, we like to hear from you. Type U for untradeable. Type T for you think he is tradable. Once again, chime in the comment section. Now, because Joel Embiid has just been balling out, going bonkers over the last 2 months, he is now the MVP leader, according to the betting odds. Now, he was just named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He's going to rest Monday's game against the Memphis Grizzlies as we record this kind of early on Monday evening. Joel Embiid is plus 220 right now. A couple weeks ago, he was plus 500. If you took him at plus 500, you got great value. Right now, not as much, but he's ahead of the Joker, he's ahead of Giannis, he's ahead of Steph Curry, and he, of course, would be the Sixers' first NBA MVP going back to Allen Iverson in 2001 when he led Philly to the NBA Finals. Epic Game 1 win over the Lakers in the Finals, and then the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq only lost one playoff game that entire playoff run. It happened to be Game 1. They won 4 straight and then won the NBA Finals. But Embiid is doing things over the last 2 months that really stacks up with what AI did, Wilt Chamberlain, Julius Erving, a completely dominant force. And if you want to bet on Embiid to win NBA MVP, it would really be a terrific accolade for him. He was on his way to winning that award last year before he injured his knee and got hurt. Then the Joker kind of surged and he won it. You can bet on Embiid and win some money if you use our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Enter the promo code CHAT125. Let's say you put in $100. By using that link in that promo code, you get an additional $125 back. Lastly on today's show, this happened over the weekend as well. Shaquille O'Neal absolutely shredded, eviscerated, and tore apart Ben Simmons. If there's a coffin somewhere, if there's a tombstone, somebody let me know. Because he put him in a body bag, and it was vicious. Shaquille O'Neal on Ben Simmons saying this: I stay on big guys because I care about them. I want them to play a certain way. I want them to play at a certain level. The difference between Embiid and his soft partner Simmons is he can take criticism without being a crybaby, and he still wants to play. Me and Charles, we've been on Embiid, and we stay on him. We told him to his face what he needs to do. He didn't cry. He didn't say, oh, I want to get traded. He didn't complain about mistreatment, and that's the difference. That's why I like and respect him. The other guy, I don't respect him. I've been thinking about it. You're missing a whole season because they asked you and your coach a question, can we win without him? And your coach gave a funny answer. That should tell you you need to get in the summertime and go work on your game. You don't think I haven't been criticized by you guys, Stephen A.? You don't think I haven't been criticized by the LA and New York media? Great players get criticized, but great players also step up to the criticism and perform. So this other guy, I don't respect him. I would get rid of him. And obviously, if the Sixers had their way, they'd get rid of Ben Simmons as well. We've talked a lot about Ben Simmons here on the channel, and we have to because he's one of the biggest storylines. I'm fatigued by the rumors, as are you, but a lot of the same things that I've been saying is what Shaquille O'Neal was basically able to summarize in the span of a couple of quote graphics. This guy could be great, but he doesn't want to be great. If he wanted to truly be great, he'd get in the lab, he'd work on his offensive game, he'd develop some semblance of an elbow, baseline, or three-point shot because it not only would help out him, it would help out the team. Instead, he's just kind of content with being a good player who's paid great money and he enjoys the celebrity status of being a professional basketball player, he doesn't have the mental makeup to take his game to that next gear, to really put the pedal to the floor and put in the necessary work to become a Giannis, who, like Ben Simmons, was raw and needed to work on his weaknesses and flaws. He did, and he became an NBA Finals MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, and an NBA MVP. Giannis does that. Ben Simmons would never. One word to describe Ben Simmons before we hop on out of here on today's show. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Let me know your one word to describe Ben Simmons. Soft, crybaby, weak, fraud, phony. All of those might apply. The frustration from me and other Sixers fans, the guy has greatness in him. He doesn't tap into that greatness. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching today's show. Join the movement here at Philadelphia 76ers Now.